Rise and shine and welcome to the ASOM experience. How amazing it is to be alive again today. With me today is a very special guest. You will see him in a bit. This person has been a true friend for over a year now. We've met through different occasions. He has an amazing story, and I quote him, "Everyone stutters. I just do it when I speak." He's been to 2 times TEDx speeches, and he's been championing inclusion and resilience at organizations worldwide. He has lived in different countries, right now in Beirut, and he's been mostly in Toronto. Featured on Forbes, TEDx, Goldcast, and many other platforms and speaking contests. He is also a stand-up comedian in multiple languages. I'm going to go to the point, and I'm going to welcome with us the one and only Joze Piranian. Hello, Joze.
So great to be here, and for the benefit of your audience, I'll mention, yes, it is true. I do have a stutter. Everyone's Wi-Fi is working just fine.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Also, I have to mention, Joze is an amazing stand-up comedian who's performed on different stages, including Sofa Laughs and Zoom Joke and many others. And he's an icon. I mean, if you have not yet stumbled upon his Instagram, I will immediately mention it's Yes Way Joze. So Joze, thank you again. I'm so grateful already for our friendship, because I've met you over a year ago, and thanks to you, you have introduced me to Toastmasters, basically, and we've also had the chance to create together one video, which was really beautiful, a state of perseverance. So I'm really grateful for you again, Joze, and yeah, just feel like starting with a brief intro. Tell us your story. Why are you here today?
It's funny you mentioned the video that we had produced, or that you had produced with me as a guest, and I was actually at that location this morning for a walk with a friend that I had met at Toastmasters. So it's everything coming together. And the reason why I'm here today is to share insights that I have uncovered along my personal and ongoing journey of transformation, insights about overcome whatever challenges someone might be experiencing in life right now. I often say, as you quoted me, that everyone has a stutter. It's the thing that holds you back in life. And I look forward to talking about that metaphor and sharing some best practices, both in terms of mindset shifts and habits that prove to be absolutely instrumental in my journey.
Amazing, Joze. Thank you so much. I'm really glad you were at that spot, that location again today. And yeah, good memories from there. Thank you for telling our audience, people who are listening, whether you're on Spotify or you're watching us on YouTube. First of all, we are extremely grateful that you're here. And it's amazing that you've taken the time, to connect and to listen to Jose's story. For those who do not know him yet, please hold on. It's going to be, full of lessons and full of insights. And once again, I'm extremely grateful. So quick reminder, if you have not subscribed or followed, please do so that you won't miss out. So moving on, Jose, I do have a surprise for you. I don't know if I should bring it up right now or in a bit. I don't know how how patient are you?
Having dealt with pretty severe stutter my whole life, I have had to be extremely patient. I am really intrigued at the same time by this surprise. I'll leave it up to you to determine the optimal time to drop it.
Absolutely, Jose. So I guess our listeners and people who are watching us are absolutely curious by now and intrigued. So if I may, I'm going to show it first to our viewers and then I'll explain more. So I've got a friend for you here. For those who do not know, I've brought with me to this episode an avocado, and I will let Jose explain his relationship with avocados. This has been something that was such a beautiful, first of all, fruit or vegetable. I don't know what do you consider it?
I consider it to be the best thing on earth. I absolutely adore avocado, and I will be pretty shameless with how I with where I add it. I even have my pizza with slices of avocado. I am convinced that very few dishes would not be significantly improved by adding avocado to them.
Love it. I love it. Yeah, yeah. It's such a beautiful I think it's also a way to slightly add a little bit of humor here. And yeah, I'm also a big fan of avocados, and it's great to see that how you really relate to this amazing food. Um, Great. So moving on, with all the work, with all the years and everything you've been through, today, what truly motivates you to wake up in the morning, Jose?
It's coffee. I can speak about impact and self-mastery as two fundamental drivers or pillars of what motivates me. On the one hand, I am really committed to continuous improvement in terms of habits and mindsets and conquering obstacles, while at the same time also being deeply committed to having an impact on people who are currently holding back due to fear. And as someone who avoided speaking for more than 25 years, out of the fear of being judged for being different, I am all too familiar with what it feels like to hold back, to squander one's potential. And I am determined to share insights that might empower others to turn that fear into action so they can overcome that inner stutter and actually start doing the things that they want to do, and most importantly, become the person or the version of themselves that they were meant to become
Mm.
all along.
Wow, that's truly a beautiful, especially when you mentioned the internal stutter, and this is, you know, this is what we do not see immediately on the outside, and it's all the internal, let us say, struggles that we carry on from our childhood, and that is there actually as an invitation for us to work on in order for us to show up to our fullest and to be truly whole for others. And it's beautiful the message that you carry today, Jose, and the way you show up to the world and the way you're contributing by all the talks, all the interviews, all the events that you're attending. And your message is truly of inspiration. So I am thanking you. And I'm also thanking you on behalf of all our listeners out there and people who are watching us. Once again, thank you for being here. Um, I'm just gonna go a little bit deeper here, and one question that comes next is, what was one of your major turning points? What was one of your
Mm.
biggest aha moments?
I sometimes joke and say that my biggest aha moment in life was that there are no aha moments in life. And
Love it.
when I say this, I am really referring to another concept that I often speak about in my talks, is the concept of a singular breakthrough
Hmm.
versus millions of micro moments of bravery. And quite often people assume, or we all wish, that transformation would be the result of one breakthrough moment when something just clicks
Mm.
as we go and run under the rain to dramatic music playing in the background. When I look at my own journey, it really is this ongoing journey of
Yeah.
deliberately doing things I find uncomfortable. And that's why I coined it millions of micro moments of bravery. And in that sense, I've had millions of t- turning points that have involved choosing discomfort growth or uncomfortable growth over comfortable safety. And I would say, if I had, however, to speak about some of the key moments early on in my journey. One, I learned a breathing technique to control the stuttering. That was really a key step. We talked about Toastmasters earlier, and if someone doesn't know what that is, it's an international public speaking association with chapters all around the world. It's very easy to find a club locally, wherever you are listening from. And that was key because a year before, or a few months before I joined Toastmasters, I had asked all my professors in university to exempt me from all of my presentations. And Toastmasters was a direct result of that, of the frustration, the sadness of being controlled by the fear. I knew that because the obstacles seemed so insurmountable, I knew that because that obstacle appeared to be radical, I understood the, the, deep down that the solution had to be equally radical. And if I was doing everything to avoid speaking, I had to start doing everything to uh, approach speaking. And that's how Toastmasters was one of those key steps. After that, I also joined the debating club in my last year of university in Montreal. And those, I would say, were some of the key steps that sparked the beginning. It wasn't, however, until I started doing this exercise, which I'm sure I have told you about this before, this exercise of talking to 100 complete strangers every single week. And I haven't really done it since the pandemic.
Yeah.
But what I would do was I would go to the mall or on the streets of whatever city I would be in, and I would challenge myself by talking to 100 complete strangers a week.
Wow, amazing. Truly, truly inspiring. I mean, I've watched one of your videos where you were actually in the mall and you were speaking to people. I think it was in Toronto, and beautifully made. Also, Jose, I should mention, has loads of, short movies that were made. Also, he was part of a documentary. I will be sharing more and more links in the description below. And if you have not followed him yet, check his Instagram out. Yeah, he's yes way Jose is his Instagram page, and you will find plenty of inspiration and motivation there. Jose, it's such a pleasure to see you again and to be able to do this. And I'm still remembering one of the last times we've met, and one of the discussions we've had. It was basically back in Lebanon. And if I may mention to their listeners and people who are watching us, Jose is right now connected from Lebanon. So he's taken really the time from being around with his family to be part of this episode. So thank you. Also, just to mention quickly, just in case the audio or the video quality is not very high, that's totally okay, because we were facing certain internet connection problems that were coming from Lebanon. So yeah, just to put this out, and thank you for understanding. So Jose, now that you are basically back, with your family for this temporary time, and you are connected again a little bit with your childhood, um, if you were right now to go back 10 or more years, and you would look at your younger self, say
Mhm.
early 20s or late teens, what
Mhm.
would you advise yourself, Jose?
Mm. It's funny because I am currently talking to you, Serge, from the room where I grew up. And
Yes.
when I deliver my speeches at organizations and conferences, schools, the fact that I am doing those from my childhood bedroom
Mm,
has had a very symbolic value, in the sense that this is the room where I felt deeply and painfully
mm,
insecure about being different. And to be able today to deliver my speeches and sometimes even my stand-up comedy performances virtually, it has a surreal quality to it.
mm.
If I could go back in time and talk to my younger self, I would tell him three things. One,
Amazing.
it's okay to be different. It took me so long to come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
I think it got interrupted, right?
No, no, no. It's all perfect. It's still flowing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, I can repeat. Uh, I am guessing you will be doing some
Editing. Yeah.
editing.
Yeah, just slightly, but actually, I've got everything you said. Like everything has been recorded. I will cut out this part now, but everything you said, I got
Mhm.
perfectly. So the first thing that you would
Okay.
say to your younger self, I got everything from the beginning till the end. So you can also proceed with the two other if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, because on my end, it looked like your screen had completely frozen for maybe 15 seconds.
Oh.
So I wasn't sure if you were still hearing me. Okay, so I'll repeat. 3, 2, 1. If I could go back in time and talk to my younger self, I would tell him three things. One, it's okay to be different. It took me so long to get to that c- c- conclusion. I would tell my younger self to own what makes him unique.
Mm.
And this is an ongoing journey. It is not a breakthrough. As I mentioned earlier, it is a journey that requires millions of micro moments of bravery. Two, use fear as a compass that will guide you where you need to go. Oftentimes, we will interpret fear as an indication for inaction,
Mm.
whereas that same exact fear, we can interpret it as an invitation to action. It's about perceiving physiology differently. It can be the same exact thing that is happening internally. We can add our own interpretation so
Mm.
that the next time that someone experiences fear, they can look at it as a trampoline that propels us forward and allows us to do the things that we know will unlock a lot more of our potential. And the third thing I would tell my younger self is, once you find that thing that scares you the most, do it, but then do it again and again and again. It's really about engineering a lifestyle where we give ourselves repeated opportunities to change our relationship with fear. Because when I look back at my own journey, it wasn't that fear disappeared after hundreds of stand-up comedy performances.
Mm.
It was more of a mindset shift. And again, this is a bit related to the second point, but really the key mindset shift is to see fear as a compass. And once we have done the things that we're afraid of, we must realize that this isn't a one-time slaying of the dragon. The slaying of the dragon literally has to become a habit.
Mm. I love it. I love the way you describe consistency also. And it's great for our listeners and people who are watching to understand that, whatever it is you're seeking, whether it's success, whether it's, passing on a message, inspiring others, getting your voice out there, it does not happen overnight. It does not happen from one single shot. Same for Jose, what he was describing, even with hundreds of stand-up comedy shows, the source, the root of fear did not vanish. You just became more, let us say, acquainted with it in a more friendly way, and you've transformed it into something extremely powerful, where you are today impacting thousands and thousands of people, including myself. You impact me on so many different levels, and thank you for being here again. I'm extremely grateful. Beautiful. Well, I hope our listeners and people who are watching are taking notes, especially on that last part, what you mentioned about, the three biggest advices and
Mm,
things that, some people would take a lifetime to actually get to a point and understand things in a different way, this
mm,
shift in your
mm,
mindset. So beautiful, thank you so much for sharing on that. And if I may, I'm going to go a little bit more vulnerable right now.
mhm,
um, what was one of the most vulnerable experiences you've had? maybe
mm,
maybe it was, an experience or something that was around failure or shame,
mm,
or maybe that led to depression.
mm,
I mean, yeah, that would be something, amazing to share with us today.
mm. We cannot talk about the j- journey of dealing with a stutter or with any type of obstacle without talking about mental health.
Mm, yes.
Obviously, in my case, for instance, severe social anxiety and a form of depression were were very dominant
Mm,
in my life, especially during my teenage years, and even uh, 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 obviously all of our journeys
yes.
are filled with the inevitable fluctuations of life. For the purpose of this question, though, let me focus on my teenage years, because those were by far the most difficult when it came to the stuttering and how I experienced my differences. When I was when I was 19, I went on vacation with my family, and I was on a cruise. That's
Mm,
that's back then when cruises were very popular,
yeah.
and I was spending my last few days on the cruise with my family, and I knew that I had this big family reunion in Lebanon that 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 was happening a day or two after my return.
Mm,
And because I was so insecure and self-conscious and fearful about stuttering and judgment and not being able to speak, I still remember wondering, what can I do to skip this event?
mm,
And then I had the idea of one night after I had taken my shower to stand outside for half an hour, hoping to get sick. So I was
wow.
completely the drenched, I was hoping to somehow get sick just so that I would have an excuse miss that gathering. And I have countless of those stories where I was literally attempting to mastermind these plots and these strategies to not have to interact with people. And that's the type of severely socially anxious and self sabotage behavior that I engaged in the overwhelming majority of my life.
Wow, Jose, actually the story truly touched me, and this is the first time we discussed this, since we've met. And I it makes me wonder, like, to everyone out listening and watching, what, I'm going to ask you, the listener, or the person watching, what is the plot that you are creating in your life right now? And take a moment to like really ponder on this, and probably write it down. Maybe it's a good material for journaling. What is the plot you are creating? And this question goes for me firstly because I see myself, and I detect myself also going through these phases of what you call a self-sabotage, or that trying to avoid a certain situation, where actually being in that situation is the invitation for healing, or for growth, or for actually being outstanding. Because with us today is Jose, who has he was able to, after many attempts of standing in the cold after a shower, right now, I'm sure it's it's there's that pride within you, where you can go in and fully show up and embrace the fact that you are unique. Embrace that difference that you can bring to your family, to your relationships, to your colleagues, to anyone around you. So
It's an
yeah.
ongoing,
Yes.
again, to go back to that point before, it is an ongoing journey. However, the trajectory has certainly been an upward one in terms of the growth and the healing that I've experienced over the years. And I like that you asked your listeners to identify the plots that they might be masterminding themselves and that are keeping them from certain heights in life. And it reminds me of that quote that I know that you and I have already talked about this.
Please.
Quote separately by the Sufi poet Rumi that goes, why do you stay in prison when the door is so wide open? And similarly to the question that you asked your listeners, we can also ask them and ask ourselves.
Totally.
You and I are obviously not exempt of this work. The question would be, what is your prison? And when will you escape?
I love it. This is, I truly, agree that this is the level of awareness that is needed for us to take off, for us to really start and move, and evolve. So it all starts with awareness. What is your prison? And then how are you going to get out? And amazing, Jose. I'm loving this, and it's true that also for me, you know, I'm learning so much. There are probably so many things that I'm listening to for the first time mentioned here, and it's yeah, it's truly rich. So I'm going to move on to our next question. And how would you sum up today your mission, Jose? What is your mission in the world? What are you know what? How do you sum this up?
Hmm. I help people who hold back,
Mm.
turn fear into action so they overcome their inner stutters and unlock their truest potential in life. That's that's my mission. And of course, it it can vary based on the context where I am delivering my mission. If I am speaking at an event about diversity and inclusion, the emphasis might be more on owning our uniqueness and the uniqueness of others in order to fulfill both our potential and the potential of those that we work with, those we interact with. If I am really focused on the topic of conquering fears, when I talk, for example, to a group of salespeople, then the emphasis might be more on overcoming the fear of rejection, which is a big part of the sales journey. If I'm speaking to an audience of students, then the message might be more related to the things I wish I knew when I was in their shoes and ways to overcome those fears of speaking up in the classroom or of saying hi to someone new on campus or joining these different clubs and really enhancing our engagement in and with life. And by the way, for those who are watching this,
Yeah.
you have just witnessed a traditional, fully authentic electricity cut in Lebanon.
I love it. I love it. You know, it gives me, it's a little bit like nostalgic for me when I see this. And I love it. I love it. It's true. Yeah. For probably many of our listeners know now, if they've heard my previous episodes, that yeah, I've grown up in Lebanon, and I'm truly, you know, fond and happy to connect with people who are there right now or who have been there, you know. And so it's thank you, Jose, for doing this and being here. It's great the way you explain your mission, because it resonates with so many different types of people and people who are from different fields. um, Today, if you would, you know, have, you know, more focus, who are you impacting the most with everything you're doing?
The beauty of this journey
Mm.
is having uncovered the extent to which so many people deal with their own obstacles, their own journeys, their own version of a
Mm.
stutter. And to me, that has been quite enlightening, humbling, and and motivating, because I know that I show up for, for, for myself,
Mm.
and very importantly for others.
Wow. Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, also always, talking about and throughout this journey, where are you in that journey? With everything you're providing and you're contributing on your mission and the people who are benefiting, you know how are you benefiting from this? And I've got previous guests who actually, the first answer they would say, when I ask who are you impacting most, they would say myself. Myself, because most of us are still in that journey, in that process of getting ourselves to a certain level. And some, like yourself, you have done so much work already, so much. I mean, it is a work in progress, it's continuous, but you have done already so much work that you are in that state of overflow. And from that state of overflow, you are able to really provide on a higher scale. So
Yeah.
it's amazing, Jose. I'm once again, I'm really grateful for you, being the person you are. And it touches me to know that I'm surrounded with amazing people, inspiring people like yourself.
I
Yeah.
am very grateful for that, and it is mutual. You also just reminded me of 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 this message that I had received once when I've had some of my talks go viral with a few million views. That also comes with people reaching out via messages, and those are always so heartwarming. If you are listening to this and you have sent me a message in the past, I do wholeheartedly appreciate it. I might not respond to all of them, but 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 just know that each message has had such a deep impact, and and there is a message that I had received where it was a man who told me that he had come across one of my videos or my talk actually on Goalcast. And he shared with me that he had dealt with substance abuse and alcoholism for many, many years. And that something about the message that he heard in my speech motivated him to face these demons, to face these challenges, to become a better father to his daughter and a better husband to his wife. And what I still remember when I read that message, I literally had to sit down and process the intensity of what I had received. And I remember thinking in that moment, this is not just about you anymore. Every time that you show up in the world, you might unexpectedly unexpectedly impact someone to face whatever obstacle they are currently suffering from. And what was also interesting, I didn't really speak about alcoholism in my speech. And the
Yes.
fact that anyone or everyone can take what they need from the message that we put out in the world, that too was really empowering and humbling at the same time, because it really told me that oftentimes what we do ends up impacting people that we did not necessarily expect to impact, because of this really powerful human ability to derive meaning and inspiration from stories that might be completely different than our own.
Wow. Truly, truly touching, Jose. Yeah, I think I remember that story of that man as well, who left you that comment. You've showed it to me maybe once, and it's really, really heartwarming and heart moving to to see how much uh, your message resonates on different levels, and also to our listeners and people who are watching. Every single step you make or every single word you say has an impact. It has a strong impact. So it's a good reminder for you to know that being here is also impactful on yourself and is also impactful later on people around you. Therefore, I'm thanking you again. So it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love this, Jose. Wow, so glad we're here, and um, I'm gonna jump to one more question before our last section.
Mhm.
And we are all heroes. Some of us don't wear capes. So Jose, who are you a hero to right now?
This reminds me of a quote that I had stumbled upon once on social media that said, "Be who you needed when you were younger."
Oh,
In terms of who I am a hero to, one, maybe my younger self,
mm,
that is one.
mm,
And two, I leave it up to people who come across my speeches, my messages, to determine the extent to which they resonate with my journey. At the end of the day, we are all, I mean, this 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 will sound cliche, but we are the heroes of our own stories, our own journeys. And when we are exposed to inspiration or advice from others, those other people, we perceive them as guides. We are always the heroes in our own journey. And when we resonate with what others have to teach us, we don't really see them as heroes. We see them as guides who might provide the necessary insights and mindset shifts that will empower us to move along our own personal heroes' journeys.
Mm. Amazing. I love the fact that you've mentioned, heroes and guides, and also, you probably also were referring to the inner guide that also leads us to this path of self-discovery and going through that journey. And it's beautiful to show up. It's really, brave to show up. And the first step to being a hero and being a guide is showing up to yourself, showing up to your community, people around you, mostly to yourself. And I'm glad you continue to show up, Jose, in your best self, and therefore you're here, and I'm truly grateful. So you are a true hero in my eyes and in the eyes of many people. So once again, for those who have not followed Jose yet, please check his Instagram out. Yes, way Jose. So just had
with
to
the
put
Z.
With a Z. Yes, yeah, absolutely. So before my final question, I've got a section that I call fast cues. Okay, so those are fast questions, and you have to answer in one word. Okay,
the questions will be a lot faster than the answers.
Amazing. Well, yeah, this is the first time I've got this reaction. So love it, Jose. Well, you may cheat. So just in case one word is too tight, you may cheat. So let's start with the first.
I like the challenge
Ooh.
of having to pick one word.
I love it. I knew you would. I knew it. Okay, so Jose, what is the meaning of life?
Impact.
Thank you. Okay. We are put on this earth for what reason?
What's these? If you can repeat these.
Yes.
Yeah,
The question. Sorry. Probably it didn't go through. Okay. We are put on this earth for what reason?
Evolution.
Amazing. Okay. What is true happiness?
Freedom.
It's the first time I get this one. Amazing. What is destiny?
Decisions.
Decisions. Does reincarnation exist?
Mornings.
Mornings. Good job. Okay. What is true mindfulness?
Oh, observation.
Observation. I love it. How would you describe God?
Uh, energy.
Energy. Great. Yeah, I've got this one already. It's really a good one. Really good one. So those were our fast cues. You've done amazing, Jose. I'm
Yes.
proud of you. Clap, clap. um, so we've got our final bonus question, okay, and then we're gonna wrap this up. I'm sorry, and I'm actually sad to see this come to an end. But so what question have I not asked you yet? If you've had to choose one question that I could have asked you, what would it be, Jose?
What are habits that have played a positive role on this journey of transformation?
Amazing. Okay, yeah, I remember one of our walks, in Lebanon. We've had this whole discussion around yeah, habits and some toxic habits and how to transform these toxic habits into actually healthy ones. So yeah, the fact that you've brought this up, do you want to go a little bit deeper? Do you want to share a little bit more on some of your habits?
I was talking to a friend a year and a half ago. Before the pandemic, I used to go to this mindfulness studio in Toronto called Mindset Brain Gym. And a friend of mine wanted to come with me to a meditation session. And she told me, hey, Jose, I wanna join you soon. Right now, I am very overwhelmed with things. So let me reach out again when I feel a bit better. And obviously, the whole purpose of meditation is to be, be, become so aware of what is happening internally that it it no longer makes us react impulsively. We can actually respond to life. And I would say meditation, and more importantly, consistent meditation, is one of the habits that I cannot recommend enough. And it's best it's it makes more sense to meditate 2 minutes a day than to meditate for half an hour, then to stop for a few weeks, and then to do an hour, and then to stop for a few months. It's all about doing these daily emotional resets. And I would say meditation, as well as breath work, journaling, and walks. I I think walks are the unsung heroes of wellness. And something as simple as a daily 1 hour walk can do wonders in terms of finding more equilibrium in our lives.
Amazing. You know, I feel like going for a walk right now, just after you mentioning this. I love it. And the fact that we've done walks together was really so, I think it was really so beneficial for our, you know, for our relationship and friendship, and how we were able to share so much. Great sharing on your habits. Thank you so much, Jose. I'm sure our listeners and people who are watching have benefited so much from this episode. We both thank you so much for taking the time, for being here, for showing up for yourselves, first of all, and then for the world. Once again, I'll give one more reminder. If you haven't followed Jose, yes, way Jose with a Z. And it was amazing seeing you again. Can't wait to see you in the next episode, and wish you a great day or night.
Thank you for having me. Speak soon.
Speak soon.